Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, we always bring you the most fascinating stories from the crypto world, and today is no different.
Certainly is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, this one, it's like a bombshell dropped right in the middle of crypto Twitter.
That's one way to put it.
So President Trump, he's back in the White House, and he just announced, get this, a U.S. crypto strategic reserve.
A bold move. Unexpected for sure.
Big time. And you know what really set the internet on fire? He named XRP, Solana, and Cardano first.
Almost as if Bitcoin and Ethereum were, afterthoughts.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, Bitcoin who? You got XRP. So yeah, obviously a ton to unpack here, so let's just dive right in. What do you think is the reasoning behind choosing these specific coins?
Well, let's break it down, right? Let's start with XRP. It's famous for its speed.
Blazing fast transactions.
Exactly. We're talking seconds compared to Bitcoin, which, it can be a bit sluggish.
Minutes, sometimes even longer, yeah.
Right. And this speed, along with the fact that some financial institutions are already using it for cross-border payments, it could give the U.S. a real edge in the global transaction game.
So is it about the U.S. trying to, dominate a world where everything financial is happening super fast?
It's a very real possibility, especially when you consider that whole SEC lawsuit against Ripple.
Oh, yeah, that's been dragging on forever.
I know, right? But imagine if Ripple wins, and then you've got the U.S. government seemingly backing XRP.
That would be huge for XRP's legitimacy.
No doubt.
Okay, that kind of makes sense for XRP. But what about Solana? Everyone calls it the Ethereum killer, but I still don't quite get what that means.
It's all about scalability. Solana can handle a massive amount of transactions per second, way more than Ethereum.
Oh, so it's about handling the volume.
Exactly. And, Ethereum's capacity issues have always been a problem, leading to those crazy high gas fees.
Yeah, the fees can be brutal sometimes.
Solana, though, it offers a much cheaper, faster alternative.
So you're thinking Trump is betting on Solana to be the leader in, the Web3 space?
Possibly. Solana is all about decentralized finance, DeFi, and NFTs, that whole vision of a decentralized future. And its ability to handle all those transactions makes it a serious contender.
All right, that makes sense. So lastly, we have Cardano. What's the story there?
Cardano. They're doing things differently. Very meticulous, very scientific in their approach.
Really careful.
Oh, absolutely. Everything is peer-reviewed. They're all about security and reliability. Plus, they've always been, regulatory friendly, which governments tend to like.
So Cardano is like the safe bet, the one built for a world with stricter rules.
Could be. And their focus on sustainability and using it in developing nations that might appeal to the U.S. government, too.
Interesting. We've got these three coins, each strong in its own way. But the real question is, why did Trump pick them? What's the bigger picture here?
Now, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some people are saying it's about controlling the crypto narrative,
Like trying to keep the U.S. in charge.
Right. Maybe even trying to compete with the BRICS nations and all their talk about crypto-backed trade settlements.
Ah, so maybe this is all about protecting the U.S. dollar in a world that's going digital.
Could be. And then there's always that chatter about a U.S.-backed digital currency.
A digital dollar.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this is a step in that direction. Who knows?
Wow, we've covered so much already. I feel like we're on the verge of a huge shift in the whole financial system.
Absolutely. And this announcement, it's just the beginning.
Right. We've barely scratched the surface. Before we get too deep, though, let's talk about what happened right after this announcement dropped. What was the market's immediate reaction?
Buckle up, because prices went on a wild ride.
Oh, I bet. I mean, XRP, Solana, Cardano, they must have gone crazy.
Crazy is an understatement. XRP surged over 30%, just like that.
Wow.
Solana wasn't far behind, shot up 25%. And then there's Cardano ADA exploded, over 70% in just a few hours.
70%. I need to buy more Cardano.
The whole crypto market cap jumped almost 10% because of this news. Investors are clearly paying attention.
Makes sense. So how's this playing out with, the big players, the institutional investors?
Well, everyone's talking about massive institutional adoption. Now that the U.S. government has given these coins a nod, it makes it easier for the big guys, hedge funds, pension funds, all those, to get into crypto.
So we're talking a huge influx of money into the crypto market.
Potentially, yeah. And here's the thing. Imagine all these big investors want to buy, but there aren't enough coins to go around. Limited supply, rising demand, that's the recipe for a supply squeeze.
And a supply squeeze usually means?
Prices go through the roof. Some analysts are saying this is exactly what we're headed for.
So if you were lucky enough to get in early on these coins,
You could be sitting on some pretty nice profits. But of course, every investment has risks. We'll definitely dig into those a bit later. For now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How would a crypto strategic reserve even work?
Yeah, good point. How does the government go about building something like that?
Well, there are a couple of ways to go about it. Some experts are saying, start with all that seized crypto the government already has. We're talking billions in Bitcoin alone.
Oh, wow.
Right. Others are suggestive actively buying more, maybe using taxpayer money, which, well,
That's going to be controversial.
definitely a hot topic. But hey, think about it. The U.S. creating a crypto reserve, what does that tell us about the future of money itself?
That's a really good question.
It is, isn't it? And one we'll keep exploring as we go deeper down this rabbit hole.
Okay, what's next on our agenda?
Well, we've laid some groundwork, right? Now, let's zoom out a little. Let's look at the big picture and all the implications of this announcement.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's talk about regulations. How could this impact the SEC's approach to crypto? Remember all those crackdowns under the Biden administration?
Oh, yeah. It was tough for crypto then.
Well, now we've got Trump back, and he seems to be pretty pro-crypto, so maybe the SEC will take a different stance.
So maybe a more positive, open environment for crypto businesses in the U.S.
It's possible. A change in the SEC's approach could affect the entire market, create a ripple effect.
It's crazy how politics and finance are so intertwined in this space.
Totally. And speaking of politics, remember Trump's take on Bitcoin back in 2024 at the Bitcoin conference.
He was pretty into holding on to Bitcoin.
He was. Never sell your Bitcoin.
Granted, one.
And now he's going a step further, creating a strategic reserve. It's like a way more proactive approach to crypto from the government. They're not just watching anymore, they're getting in the game.
Wow, that's a really good point. So we've talked about the corns, why they might have been chosen, the market's reaction, and how this could affect regulations. What else is there to explore?
Well, now that we've got the basics down, let's go even deeper. How could this affect the global balance of power? What does this mean for decentralization as a whole? And most importantly, what are the risks involved?
Let's do it. I can't wait to tackle those questions.
This U.S. crypto reserve, it could really shake things up globally. Think about it. Governments have always used strategic reserves, oil, gold, things like that.
Right, to flex their muscles economically.
Exactly. So now imagine a world where countries are competing not just for oil or gold, but for crypto too.
It's like a whole new level of, digital geopolitics.
Exactly. New rules, way higher stakes. It's fascinating. And with anything powerful, there will always be those who want to control it, right? And then you have the people fighting to keep it free, keep it decentralized. So the question is, what happens to decentralization in this scenario? Do governments try to centralize crypto to stay in control?
Or will crypto stay true to its decentralized roots?
That's the big question. This whole tug of war between, centralized power and decentralized freedom.
Right.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah, it is.
And, you, the listener, you're right in the middle of it all. You're not just passively listening. You're actually part of this conversation, part of this depth dive. You're engaging with all these complex ideas and forming your own opinions. And that's amazing.
That's exactly what we're all about here at the Deep Dive, giving you the knowledge, the insights you need so you can navigate this crazy world with confidence.
Exactly. And speaking of navigating this world, remember that huge spike in trading volume we talked about? That's a clear sign that investors are excited, right? They see the potential of these coins.
ADA breaking $1 after being stuck for so long, that's got to be a sign of optimism.
Definitely. I bet institutional investors are already figuring out how to get in on this. Remember that supply squeeze we were talking about? It's looking more and more likely now. More demand, limited supply.
Prices are going to go up.
Most likely. Which brings us to another important point. You've got to stay informed in this space, Do your research, make smart decisions, recognizing trends early on, understanding the tech.
That's how you make it in crypto.
Exactly. And this deep dive, it's really just the tip of the iceberg, a tiny glimpse into this huge, complex world of crypto. Things change so fast, with this news, right? It's crazy.
Totally.
The main takeaway, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you are.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, so we've talked about all the good stuff, the potential benefits, and the market going wild, but we need to talk about the risks too, right? What are the downsides of a U.S. crypto reserve?
Oh, that's a critical point. We can't get caught up in all the hype and forget about the potential downsides. One big concern, government overreach.
Like the government having too much control.
Yeah. What if they control a big chunk of the crypto supply? They could manipulate the market, maybe even censor transactions. Imagine, certain transactions blocked or restricted because of some political agenda.
I would go against everything crypto stands for.
Totally. It's this balancing act, right? Government involvement could bring stability, maybe help with mainstream adoption, but it also risks undermining the whole point of crypto in the first place.
So what else should we be worried about?
Well, there's that whole taxpayer money question. If the government decides to buy crypto for this reserve, where's the money coming from? Taxes. And what if the market crashes? Taxpayer money goes down the drain.
Yikes. Yeah, those are some scary possibilities. We need to be realistic. Look at all sides, right?
Yeah.
Not just get carried away by all the good stuff.
Absolutely. And we also need to think about Bitcoin. For so long, it's been the king of crypto. But now the U.S. government is promoting other coins.
Wait, could this dethrone Bitcoin?
Maybe this is the start of a world where there's no single dominant coin. Multiple players, all serving different purposes.
Like a multipolar crypto world.
Exactly. This whole situation shows us that the global financial system is changing right in front of us. Crypto is disrupting everything.
Yeah.
And governments, they have to adapt.
It really is a historic moment.
And you, the listener, you're right there, witnessing it all. Every decision you make, every investment you consider, every time you talk about crypto, it all shapes the future.
Wow, yeah. We're all part of this. It's kind of, I don't know, exciting and scary at the same time.
I know, but that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
We're literally writing the future of finance right now. We've talked about the good and the bad, the ups and downs, the potential and the risks. Now it's time to step back, look at the bigger picture.
All right, so what's next? Where do we go from here?
Let's talk about you, the listener. How do you make sense of all this? What are the key takeaways?
Okay, so much to think about. We've talked about potential benefits, risks, how the market's reacting, even global implications of this whole crypto reserve thing. My head's spinning a little.
It's a lot to take in for sure, but hey, you know what? You, the listener, you're leaving this deep dive with a much better understanding of all this. It's not just a random headline anymore, right? You see how it all fits into this bigger story of crypto, how it's challenging governments, changing the financial world.
That's what I love about the deep dive. We don't just skim the surface, we really go deep.
Exactly. And as we wrap up here, I want to emphasize this is just the beginning of the story. Crypto, it never stands still. This whole crypto reserve thing, it's just one chapter.
So what should our listeners be watching for, as this unfolds?
First, how's the U.S. government going to build and manage this reserve? Are they going to start with all that seized crypto? Will they use taxpayer money to buy more? And how are they going to deal with those concerns about manipulating the market?
Yeah. Those are the big questions. What else?
The SEC, watch what they do. Will they ease up on crypto regulations now that Trump's back? Will we see more crypto innovation in the U.S.?
And globally. Will other countries create their own crypto reserves?
I wouldn't be surprised. We might see this domino effect, Everyone wants a slice of the crypto pie.
It's like we're watching a new world order being born right in front of us. And crypto is right at the center of it all.
It's wild. It's unpredictable. But one thing's for sure. Crypto is here to stay. It's going to keep shaking things up, changing everything we thought we knew about finance.
So what's the one big takeaway, the thing you want everyone listening to remember?
Don't just read the headlines, Dig deeper, question everything, think critically, and stay curious. The crypto world is full of surprises. The only way to survive is to be open-minded and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never be afraid to push the boundaries.
And keep on diving deep.